more best of threes in the day, and it will be me, Bob, alongside Dan, of course, Hyperia. That's going to be joining me here today. It is the second day in a row that we're casting, but it has been a day apart. But I'm always happy to be alongside Dan, and we have two more best of threes. As I said, it will be Young Ninjas taking on Tricked, and also Undefined against Mouse and XT. But before we get into that, let's check out Young Ninjas against Tricked, because for now, I mean, Dan, this feels for me like a very interesting business. The Young Ninjas are trying to get better, of course. Tricked, well, they're technically not Tricked anymore.
Yeah, they're really struggling a whole lot with their roster, and usually they've got Scott standing in, but that also switches around. And well, the organization is shutting down. They mentioned that. It's a very saddening news. Trix has been alongside us for incredibly long. It's been a staple of the CS scene. But as a roster, you're just going to be looking at different options, but you do need to have a proper performance on the way out, which is why it's so important to still go out with a bang. And it hasn't really happened thus far, losing 4 out of their 5 last matches. But let's have a look at the roster to see whether they're actually going to be putting Scott on the field here today, or whether they're going to go with somebody else and try to get them going. Or let's show Young Ninjas first. Either one really doesn't matter in what order we go, but Young Ninjas, they are an incredibly fun team to watch because they've got a whole lot of potential, and the way that they flashed each other in against Endpoint just entirely obliterated Endpoint on a map where Endpoint are actually really good at, but Young Ninjas were able to take Inferno from them 16-14, bringing it to a third map. They still ended up losing that best of 3, but in recent times, Young Ninjas have already won against Tricked in a 2-0 affair, so you don't really have the utmost confidence coming into this if you're Tricked.
Well, I mean, at least it was a close game, right? It was Mirage and Overpass, and it was 16-13 and 16-12. Now, I wouldn't say it is that bad, but I mean, we'll see if they choose to go for some other maps or something. But yeah, they look like a really interesting team, narrowly missing their chance against Endpoint because it was very close on the first 2 maps. The third one was, well, it was, I don't know what happened with Young Ninjas, but they fell off very, very badly on Mirage there. Interestingly enough, even though they won against Trick, as you were talking about it earlier. But yeah, they seem like a really interesting team. They are up and coming young players, and of course they're going to try their best here. And alongside Abdi, who's their coach, and I think he has been the coach since the starter project. I don't want to mess that up, but I think that is the case for them. Yeah, he's been in the team for 7 months. He wasn't since the start because Maxer and Adam B have been in the team for 11, but since Era joined, he's been in the team as well. Now let's look over at Trick because they're the team kind of hanging in the balance, right? Because they're, as you said, they're shutting down their division, and well, now the players, of course, they're still going to do their best. They're still going to try their best at it, but that might impact them a little bit, as at the moment they're not currently represented. Sure, it says Trick, but they're more like X-Tricked esports. I mean, maybe they can still keep the name, but still, they probably at some point they're going to be looking for another organ. They're not a bad team. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't saying necessarily that they're a bad team or they're worse necessarily than the Young Ninjas, because again, it was close games, those 2 maps that they played, and Young Ninjas, they're ranked 79th in the world. Trick, they're ranked 76th, so just a little bit better in terms of individual skill or individual ratings, I should say. I feel like Young Ninjas could look better because at the moment only Lucky is over 1.0 rating. His teammates have fallen a little bit behind, but I think we're ready to go live already. And we'll see exactly what the maps are. Mirage to start things off. No Overpass, but you have Nuke and Vertigo as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, it makes sense. I'm gonna guess that NLP they banned out Overpass, and then they came to Nuke because you don't really want to go up against Tricked on Overpass. Still a spectacular map from them. But yesterday, Scott was actually playing really well and starting to get up there in the fragging. Now Prime is the one to have to do it. Maxer and LNZ will overrun, and Quez just dead in the water. It's 2 players that weren't looking his way, but Nyla was going to swoop in and gather up that frag. Tricked. In a 3v4 retake. They've got dualies, but no kit, no utility to try and do it with Max there. He's right around the corner from Lucky. Iceberg needs to find that opener. The IGL for Tricked. And he might just be able to find Nilo. No, Nilo is just
Oh,
continuing on his tear. And he's really a player to watch on this roster, man. Nilo is an absolute force of nature.
I'm just thinking, why the difference here in the veto? Because in the previous best of three, Young Ninjas, they were still the first ones to ban, and then they got rid of Nuke. Because we know that Mirage, sure, they wanted, they're good at Mirage, 72% win rate and all of that. But on Nuke, they're on 0% win rate out of 4 maps, and that is by far the most played map of Trick. 22 maps and 41% win rate.
I think a very important part about it is that I'm pretty sure that Tricks have a pretty detrimental losing streak on New currently, whereas at the time they were playing that map, that losing streak wasn't quite up to the level. Yeah, I think after the matchup against NIP, where obviously NIP, as you mentioned, banned Nuke, they've lost 3 straight. So that's probably where Ninjas are now thinking, we get some confidence on Nuke. We can probably take them.
Yeah, I mean, the latest results, right? They lost against Nexus, Godsend, Mouse, and XT, because the previous 3 were at the RMRs, and they actually lost against G2, which no one can blame them, against 1win, which then again, no one can really blame them, and against Jano, which for that, I'm not exactly sure how good Jano are at a Nuke, but I feel like they're a little bit more approachable than G2 or 1win, but at the same time, it's still going to be interesting. It still should be a very competitive map there, because again, maybe they're not feeling their best being in this situation, right? As well, playing with not really a stand-in at this point, as Scott has been playing for a little bit here with Drake already, so you could even consider him part of the team. But as I say, that Lucky goes down. Iceberg, he will swing and take down LNZ. Will keep on swinging here, but misses the chance to take down Maxter. Now, Wes, he is behind the smoke, and he can be pretty sneaky. Never mind, Maxter is on point, 2 HP, but that's more than enough.
And he already got tagged up low by Iceberg before that, so for him to get another kill, that's already massive. And with Scott, last man left alive, they know his position, he's got to be cleared out quickly, otherwise he's going to peek on out, get at least the one, but that's where the troubles will start arising. Nyla will get decapitated in NIP. They do it with 3 players left alive by the very end of it. And 2 of them actually saving over the A1Ss, preferring it over an AK. Memory is too short-sighted to remember whether they had Galils coming into it, but for Tricked, it's a strugglesome round there. Your first gun round, you lose it, you don't really gain that confidence, and Iceberg is not really known as a fragging IGL, but in recent times, I feel like he's dipped below the standard that he has set for himself just that little bit more, and that's making it extra hard on Trick, because then you need to have immaculate strategy as an IGL to make up for the fact that you're not fragging out a whole lot.
Am I wrong in saying that Iceberg was the coach at some point as well? I might be confusing him with someone
Larson.
else.
Larson is...
Yeah, Larson is the coach at the moment.
He was very often swapping between coach, playing, and he even was a stand-in for Tricked. At some point, he had a tenure as a player on Tricked as well before he turned into a coach. And then Larson is a very old one there, but...
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm thinking about I was thinking about the wrong player, but well, Iceberg, just the player I was talking about, gets the first one onto Maxter, and they are actually stacking towards this B side, so this could prove really good for Tricked as Nilo takes down Scott, but Prime trades, and LNZ takes down Lucky. Oh, that is a shot in the back of the head. Now the problem is the bomb is down. LNZ manages to trade to make it a 2-on-2, but they're stuck behind the smoke. And they'll probably soon realize that all of the players are behind them, and it's going to be kind of hard to take back the bomb in this situation, I feel like, because Iceberg is very close and Prime is all the way in short.
You've at least got 2 mollies to try and do something with, but that's already a tough one. Adam B. First, Iceberg is going to get the drop on LNT, and NIB, they suffer a tough round as well. Was Tricked, managed to sneak one out from underneath with the Deagles pulling through, and that's always why it's a worthwhile investment. When you've got a loss bonus that can afford you that already, you can buy up the Deagles and not really have too much stress as long as you can buy in the next round. And this is the payoff out of it. A round save with 2 of your players left alive, and they've gotten 2 AKs and even bringing out the ult, whereas on the side of NIP, there is none.
And well, with that, it did surprise Young Ninjas. It was more of an unlucky situation for the Young Ninjas, I feel like. Just because the bomb was dropped. Because if the bomb wasn't dropped there... Oh, nice shot there by LNZ, and Nilo takes out Quez. Y'all need to hang on to that analysis, because Young Ninjas, they're finding picks left and right, and also center, as there was a frag in mid onto Iceberg. LNZ still pushing on, manages to take down Scott. That's Scott, that's not Scout. And Prime, he's the last one standing in a 1-on-5. Has the AK and a flash, sure, but I mean, he's being held by Adam B, and at the same time, it's way too hard to get this 1-on-5, especially how they're getting closer to him, and they might have read the situation perfectly, as he is stuck here by the TV. So it should just be the end of the round here for the Young Ninjas. But I was trying to get back into the analysis, but the duel might start here, and yeah, it will be a clean round for the Young Ninjas. Yeah, it was just an unlucky situation, because if they would have gotten the bomb onto the site, I just feel like their post-plant situation would have been way better than that awkward duel inside connector and also jungle, right? And they went into the Deagles, sure, but it was also some nice shots from Tricked, nonetheless.
It's tough that you win a Deagle round and then you have got all the rifles that you want and you aren't able to pull it through. And NOP, they snag away that up. They're really getting everything going. But for Tricks, they still do have a buy, but they're going with a hero up, and I'm not too sure about this. The hero up is, of course, going to draw a whole lot of attention and somewhat fake it out, but you really need to do a lot of work with it, and also the rifle if you want to make this one work. Iceberg already spotted. Adam B can now just hold him dead to rights, and on the run out, that's where Iceberg is going to get another tag in the head, and very ambitious by Adam to just start running in. Are they going to take Scott into account? Prime is at least able to get away, and they're just dying to the pistols right now, but he has to reload. That's going to allow Nyla to close the gap. Era with the molly is going to section them off, but that's where Lucky come through with the AWP and Trick. They're in a 3v1.
Oh, and Era tried to pick up the bomb, but he was just a little bit too far away from the bomb, so was caught out of position. Now, Young Ninjas, this is the second time they lose a round to the pistols, which is a little bit awkward. Those kind of rounds should be the easiest ones to win, but I think they're focusing too much on what you can call maybe the strategy or something like that. You just see the odds heavily favoring Drake. Make sure you check those out at cct.gg/1xbet, but do remember to bet responsibly. But yeah, Young Ninjas, I feel like they're too structured, if that makes sense. Sometimes you just have to go for the peak, just to try and take the duel up front, not wait around, see what the enemy does, especially when you're down into the B site. When you're not into the B site, you should probably just check all of the angles, and if you get all of the kills and no one else is there, you can get the bomb down after.
Another round where Tricks do quickly respond. If you're not really able to change those rounds together, that's where it does get a bit awkward. Especially for the CTs on the economic front, but this was another round where they invested 2 rifles and they come out of it with 3, so a very solid one. They get to run it back here. NOP, they've just got 5 AKs, and in the short, swift, and quick rounds, that's really where NIP have been gaining a lot of ground, overwhelming Trick, who don't really have the time to compose themselves. Iceberg, he's just waiting in the smoke in window. And as soon as that fades, he's going to get a freebie on Arrow, who got caught lacking. That's a nice one by Iceberg. Positional play. Iceberg is going to pick up another 2-for-1 trade. Now Scott, can he sell his position fully? It seems like they're going to check him, and not fully, not at all, actually. And Scott and Prime, they're going to combine. But Maxter gets the drop on Lucky. That's still not going to be enough to easily start getting the favorability in a round like this.
I mean, Maxter was very far away from the play. Prime will take him down, and they will get back that up. He was very far from the play of his teammates, and I don't know exactly what the plan was there, just to lurk after the site has been taken control of, probably, but the main part is they have to take control of the site, and if they don't, well, you're just isolated from wherever the duel was happening, and you couldn't really help out a whole lot. So again, just some of the structure from the young ninjas, maybe it is a little bit weird. Maybe from time to time, it's just better just to play the more of a default game, because we've seen them just push onto A and get the headshots. It's not really out of their league just to go in and get the kills, but at the same time, when they're kind of being a little bit slow, waiting for the enemy to react and all of that, sometimes that does backfire. So they already lost Maxer in B apartments, and right now you do understand they're looking for some headshots with those pistols. The round boost with the Glocks. Tricked still has, well, that's actually lucky, having the crosshair onto the enemy player, and they're falling like flies. Zera, the last one standing, has the deagle, no armor, and kind of slim chances to get anything done here.
Hey, we've just got Glocks here looking for a few frags, but on a map like Mirage, it feels pretty tough. You're just way too far away. And basically everywhere you go, unless Tricked really start pushing mid, but they have got the reins on themselves to tone themselves in. Young Ninjas again with 5 AKs. Don't have the money to afford an ult, but honestly, I don't necessarily mind it. Quite like NIP and just going for the quick, fast play to overwhelm Trick, but the problem is that as soon as you try and go for something like that, Tricked are still going to have a full bell to you, so you first need to get that out, and at that point, that's where you can really start trying some stuff in the round, and without being pelleted by nades and just being dead lost in the push before it even really starts. So NIP, they're currently trying to do that, but it's not really going that rapidly. Tricked are playing preservative, lucky. He's in an angle where that flash won't reach him, and Adam, surely don't just peek into this raw. No, you do, and it's lucky. Whiffs the shot as soon as there's multiple targets. As an ult break gets really tough.
No LNZ was hit there by bullets, so they might know that he was going towards window, or basically under window. Inside connector they go, and out the smoke they pop. And LNZ, he realizes that Iceberg might be in that position. Maxer will find Scott, was all the way in CT spawn, and well, at this point they could call a save, but the thing is, Prime might be able to take down the bomb planter. Oh, he doesn't swing, and smartly so. He has a player very close to him, that is Zera. Lucky. Yeah. Might have been spotted here by Adam B. Oh, does he want to take the peek? And it is very risky, and Lucky, I don't think there's a way you can miss that shot. But they will slowly back away towards that B site, and that will be the save out of Tricked. But still a good start here from the young ninjas, and also Tricked answering back. I'm just saying that it was a good start for the young ninjas, because against Endpoint, they only got 3 rounds on the T side, and it was the final map of the best of T, and they kind of fell off of the rhythm that they had in the first 2.
I think for Prime to be swinging there would just be his own death sentence. I think there was a smoke in the way of the connector, or there was a smoke in the way, and especially with a player up close, you'd give away your position, and there was nobody CT, so it could just be that NIP are planting in a safe spot and not really taking any risks. That's the advantage of having the X-ray always. And we can see what the best play, what the pixel perfect play would be for these players. It's oftentimes a stab in the dark, and it's going purely based off experience and what tendencies do the opposition have. But Trick, they did with the opening duel. It looks like NMP are going to go quickly on A. Yeah, they've got smoke, but this is the whole battalion of Util that's being lobbed over the top, and the nade is going to do a whole healthy chunk of damage on LNZ. Adam B inching closer with Quez, and that's why you don't spray errantly with all your bullets, because they can easily run you down exactly as that, and Trick they might just decide to save unless Iceberg can make this one work, but he might have actually been hurt by Aero, only just started walking.
Well, coming in through Palace, he's being held by Nilo right now, and his teammates are pretty far away. They're getting close. Now, there is a chance here for Tricked, but they have to hurry up. Flashes are not good at all. They don't even reach the two players. And Lucky, he is just by himself right now, and I mean, oh, nice shot onto Adam B. I mean, even if he was flash, but still gets that frag. And Maxer will trade in the end, so that is the Young Ninjas winning the sixth round as well. Now, they were contemplating maybe Ada wants to play or not, but it seems like the answer is no. It seems like he just wants to play the AK alongside his teammates, and here on T side, especially against the Tricked, who are out of money. They're not using an op into this one, and you could even force them into an eco. So Young Ninjas with this one, they can basically win the first half. They can get to 8, so they cannot be overtaken in the first 15. But still, then again, it is just a better half than they had against Endpoint, and they're looking a little bit more on point. Maybe after 2 kind of long maps, they get a little bit tired, which can be played against them. But for now, they're looking good.
And just the raw mechanical ability by NIP. That's really what you're looking for in young players like this, who might be a bit rough around the edges, but with experience, that will also slowly but surely start withering down, and they'll start having more solidified plays while also still having that mechanical ability, because that doesn't really fade all that easily. It just gradually goes down at some point if you don't practice it enough, but Max there. Spot at Prime. He wants the piece of that head. Iceberg. Oh, no. This is another silly mistake for Trick to just spray until their entire mag is finished. LNZ is going to find Scott as well. And meanwhile, NIP have still got presence over towards B. LNZ doesn't get the timing, and they're still going to execute up on B where there's 2 players. Lucky sitting outside of the apps. He's the playmaker. He goes under the radar, and that's the end of the round, surely. Oh, no, they actually plant save, which is pretty huge. But he stopped planting. Nilo got scared. Era is able to decapitate Lucky, though. But at this point, 2 players for Tricked are already on the scene. Era needs to hold them off. Gets the first. Quez trades it out, and that brings it down into a one-on-one. Nilo versus Quez. And Nilo, he's just planting himself safely behind the van, actually starting to prop himself up. Has a gander, sees him in the market, and decides not to challenge this any further. But this is smart, having a wide swing, and you're not really expecting Nilo to be sitting over at short, and he has an easy side decapitation.
Smartly played there by the youngster. And that is the moment they force Tricked into a half-buy. So, we're going to see some upgraded pistols, and again, last time they had the Deagles, it worked out for them. It wasn't bad at all. They actually surprised the Young Ninjas. But we'll see if this time they're going to make it work as well, with 5.7 and a P250 also in the mix, and missing armors, I would say, is the biggest problem, as even if they retrieve a weapon, they can't really afford to spray with it. They need to be very precise. So then they have a better chance. But right now, they're playing this pretty passively here, Tricked, and I do respect it, as they are, once again, sending multiple players towards that B site. That, again, could be the surprise. Iceberg gets a lot of control into B apartments, but did Maxter hear Iceberg here? Because he was stepping heavily. Maxter was holding an off angle, and that will keep the attention of Trick towards B. But as they saw another 2 players towards that B site, Young Ninjas, they might decide to go into that A site instead. They're going to find... Oh, they do find Quez. Adam B could have been shot in the back of the head, but let's see the pistols in window. Nice headshot by Scott.
It's just all about doing the damage. Prime's got an AK now to tear up the scene. Prime, spectacular players, received high praises from other players as well, but he hasn't really hit that peak in recent times anymore, and I feel like that's in general a story on the side of Trick. You've obviously got lucky with the stint on Astralis. He was highly anticipated. He was supposed to be the one to fix Astralis again. But when you're stepping into the boots of a player like Device, right, you're always going to struggle to compete and live up to the expectations. But a bit of a hit to the confidence, it feels like. And now they're trying to gain that back, but with Trick shutting down, that also really doesn't help. And they, yet again, need to look for a new home. But it is a very strong roster, and sure, they've been having trouble in recent times, but they went from a top contender in the tier 2 to struggling a little bit more in that regard and dropping off, but they're still a benchmark team.
Yeah, I mean, as we've seen, and in the return, even Device can struggle in the fate of Device coming back into the game, of course, after a long break. But now, the thing is, that team is looking better. Trek, as you said, they kind of fallen off. They're struggling here in the tier 2 because when it was, if you would have seen the Drake from before, I don't think you would have given a lot of chances to the young ninjas because they were that good. But right now, oh, we'll see. The game is not over, of course, and Lucky takes down Adam B. It is still round 13 right now on the first map of the best of 3. Anything can happen. Drake can still come back into this one, make it an 8-7, and after that on the T side, maybe do better. But just looking over what the previous results have been telling us, it's hard for the side of Drake. Now, Quez, he will actually go down into the mall. We'll go down to the molly because the nade was stopping him from running away, or at least slow this movement. Iceberg did get one onto Era, which was very important as they took down the upper. Young Ninjas, are they actually considering rotating back over towards the B side? Because there's 55 seconds left, and Trick, they have pretty good map control. Mid is in their possession. They don't have the A side, but at the moment B is still open, and they're waiting for Trick to get back into the site just to check, and after that, pop the flashes over. Oh, and maybe even the contact play. Nilo goes down to Lucky. But there's 2 players rotating over towards B. They haven't been fooled that they're faking this A play.
Nilo, he kind of approached that as a lurk player would. Slowly but surely moving in as a lone wolf. But they're not really pushing anybody else, and the bomb is also not close. Lucky gets baited into the shot, but LNZ steps out right into the open. I would love to see them go for the plant here, and that's exactly what Maxer has. And with 100 HP, there's a defendable spot. Never mind, Prime will immediately pounce and Tricked. They will be the victor of the round. But for NIP, it did feel a little bit nothingness, where they didn't wait long enough for the fake to be fully sold to Tricked, but they also didn't rotate over at all. So they just went a player down, and I feel like if you just wait a little bit longer with all 3 of you, Tricked are going to start running back over towards B just to try and intercept that play, and then you've got a 3-on-2 right now. The best you're going to get at that point is a 2-on-2, because Tricked are not all of a sudden going to rotate 3 people over towards B. That would be silly. It could happen, but it'd be a mistake out of Trick. So for NIP, I'd love to see them wait a little bit longer, go down to that 20-second mark, and then just bomb onto the site. But NIP, they are going quick. They're stepping on the gas here. Nilo already occupying the position in short, but Lucky, yep, flash dead to right. Oh, Iceberg, hello, that's filth.
Okay. Good find there. Iceberg. Didn't you realize he saw Maxter? Oh, he does in the end. So, double kill just to cancel that fast push from Young Ninjas. Some nice shots into this one. Adam B nails the headshot onto Iceberg. Caught at the edge of the smoke, will be found, and now it is all up to Prime. But look at where Prime is going. Will he spot the bomb? That is the main question.
Yep.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
He was looking right at it.
This could be a 5-head play as well, that he spotted the bomb, because this is going to cost a whole lot of time. But I feel you can hear T-spawn from mid. So Prime, he's going to be found out. And yeah, NIP, they're just running it down short, gathering up the bomb. I would have loved that play had the footsteps not been heard. And Prime is going to be on the A site. The lone wolf can have a crack at this with a smoke and a flash, but he would need to make it out of a death window quickly, because otherwise you're just dead lost as soon as you try and crawl through it. But now up against Adams, tucks away in the corner and gets Prime from the side.
9 for the young ninjas. And again, it was those fast plays from the young ninjas. Usually they surprise, and they surprise Tricked as well. But the thing is, I feel like sometimes we've seen that against Endpoint as well. Sometimes those slow plays that they usually go for, they're not really the way to go. And I'm sure they can realize that after a bunch of matches where those slow plays they can just be read. And I do like this B rush right now because they will surprise for sure. Nilo takes down Prime. There's a player in short that just abandons the duel, but he will be found by LNC either way because he was hanging back, shaking towards top mid. This is very nice from the young ninjas. And with a couple of MP9s and a FAMAS trick, they have to go for this one because it is round number 15. But it is already looking like the round is over, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, 2v5. Don't really bank on anybody pulling that through. You could put Simple and Zywoo in this spot, and you probably would still bet against them. And NIP, they do close it out. And in fashion, 5 players still left alive as the end half. But NIP, they just look so strong when they pounce upon the site. And Iceberg being the top fragger, good for Iceberg, not good for the rest of the team because he's not really a through and through fragger. You really need players like Prime, like Quez to start stepping up as well because they've absolutely got it in their locker. They are more potent than they're currently showing, and they just need to excel that little bit. But Trick, they're not out of this. They can still win the pistol.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a 10-5, not that bad. It's still double digits for the young ninjas, but they still need 6 rounds to win the first map, and Trick surely can do it. I mean, I just want to quickly double check how are they doing usually on T side? Not that great, and for the young ninjas, both of the sides are good. But actually, I need to find out with this lineup. Well, with this lineup, they played only once against Nexus, and they were on 61.5% T round wins. So, hey, maybe they still have it in them.
They could. At least they get to decide the pace now. Unless NOP get aggressive, but can't really imagine NOP getting aggressive round after round. Because at that point, Tricks are just going to wait a little bit and get a free kill. Started up at Trick. They are going very quickly on this. Through the connector, but Adam sends Iceberg out. Nilo's got to follow up with Adam. Still playing from CT. His position has not been given up just yet. Even though there's a gap in jungle, they could move into CT, but they're not moving through there at all because Naxter's got them dead to rights and being dinked from the back. Nilo and Adam are going to close out the round. The one who started it off are also the finishers, and NIP getting the pistol might means it's lights out for Tricks.
Yeah, I mean, again, we were hope. Not all hope is lost just yet. Let's not lose all hope. But again, still, just by looking at how the rounds have been going so far, and not judging by the score, you just don't even mind the score. We're just looking at how the teams were looking so far. It just seems like young ninjas, at least on this map, they look like the better team. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the best of 3 is over, and young ninjas are going to win this one 2-0 as well as they did in another tournament. Because again, there's still a chance for Trick. Sure, maybe Mirage is not their best, right? It is certainly not their best. But for Trick, Nuke is the most played map with 22 maps. And for young ninjas, they only played it 4 times in the past 3 months. Of course, that's not with all of the lineups. Well, I'll go back on that. Trick. With this lineup, they only played it 3 times, and all the 3 times they actually did better on the T side somehow, so that is a little bit worrying. But again, young ninjas are on a 0% win rate in the previous 3 months, and there's still hope for Trick. Right now in this one, I'm not exactly sure. They're trying to surprise, and Prime swings through the smoke, but at a B, he actually manages to get one, even though he wasn't looking in the right direction. Lucky will take down Nilo. That makes it a 3-on-3. Oh, but that's very risky peeks there from LNZ, as Iceberg is actually on their window, and LNZ might have read the situation perfectly.
NRP so quickly in the rotation over. Trick have just reached the end of T-spawn, and that's where Maxer was already back in B. You really need to be up close with that MP9. Doesn't really do a whole lot long range, but this is also... Oh, LNZ's barrel spotted, and Iceberg is going to be on high alert, but LNZ now spots him. That's going to allow... No, I thought perhaps Era was going to prop himself up onto the ticket booth, and there's still a smoke and a nade on Maxter too, but that's going to happen way too late. Needs to throw it for his way out, but oh, I love this. Yeah, you're not going to be expecting it. That smoke usually gets thrown so you can play bench a little bit more comfortable. The nade will blow up underneath Maxter, but barely, not do any damage at all, and a very solid round here again by NOP. A bonus round pulled through, and they've got 2 of the rifles still intact.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that nade, but I want to reiterate that Maxter just dropping the smoke there and playing next to the truck was so smart out of him. And that just gets, not only gets Young Ninjas in a better situation, but also just leaves him in a very annoying spot for Lucky, as he didn't expect him to just prop himself up onto the truck and just take the duel. But now, Trick, they're looking to play through mid. Actually might overwhelm Nilo in short here, as actually they're going towards connector. Nilo will be able to swing. Iceberg, he's very close inside ladder room. Prime, I think Era heard him. I don't think he could have gotten into window without jumping on the bench, because there was no one close enough. And yeah, Era will just take him down. That's the bomb actually down. Lucky. Oh, that's actually Iceberg. Surprising Era. Lucky. Oof, unlucky, I would say, from him, as with the P250 was taken out by a stray bullet. And Iceberg, you should just be going down.
Oh my.
Here.
This is costly.
Yeah.
This is really not great. Tricked. Unfortunately, they don't have the bombs, so they're not going to be able to get a plant, and Iceberg can't put the team on his shoulders. Still could, but at least not in a post-plant position. He's going to have to duke it out all the way over at mid, and with that also gather up the ace. NIP. It's already a tough round for them. It's been incredibly costly. If they now lose, that could be the accelerant for Tricked, and NIP would have to regain big time. But Iceberg starting to creep up. Timer does start ticking, and the bomb is down in window, so he's fully going to need to go around to it. Adam, he's not really watching short, but with 17 HP, you can't really put a whole lot of faith in Iceberg, and he does get the first. Hold up a second. LNZ now up in the second challenge, but it is LNZ who shuts those shenanigans down.
It was very close there. Iceberg almost getting the ace, and also the ace clutch. But as they lose that one, it was only an eco from Tricked. Maybe that signals them that with the weapons, they can be just as fast. And Young Ninjas, they're not really going to have anything to say about it at first. So maybe with one more fast play, they could surprise Young Ninjas and maybe try and take some rounds off of them, at least to get some of the confidence going, because they're going to need the confidence into the next map. And they do go towards the A site, where actually Young Ninjas, they completely left the site open. And because of that, they just now have to basically retake, even though the site hasn't been taken just yet. They don't have that info, and also they can't really risk it. Adam B takes down Iceberg in mid, so the flank has been cancelled. LNZ, I think he was flashed by a teammate there, but they are taking their time, which means Young Ninjas, they have enough time to rotate in. Oh,
And lines them up, bomb down again, 4v2. Still possible with Quez dropping LNZ. The bomb also retrieved now, Prime. That's a tough smoke to line up, because you do need to have it perfectly on, but it seems like that certainly happened. Quez, oh no, it was such a brilliant spot. Now they've just thrown it away. That was not a great play, and oh, Quez, he burns alive by the end of it as well. I love that Quez actually propped himself up on the boxes, but at that point, you can't play in the corner. You need to fully go and commit to it, especially when your teammate is going for the plant, but it's a tiny disconnect in the communication, and then they just are on 15.
yeah, it would have been really nice to see him peek into that city spawner towards the kid booth. At the same time, the sprays weren't that clean from CT there, because he went down to the molly, but he could have taken down the second player as well, and it would have been getting scary. But now, 15-5, a 10-round lead from the Young Ninjas, and this could very well be the last round of the map here. Lucky he doesn't have any head armor. Maxter actually watching the tight angle, trying to take a shot through there. Very very daring, but it's gonna be very hard to just hit a shot through that small gap, especially with an AK. Now, they are getting some presence towards that B side. That doesn't prompt any rotation from the young ninjas. Era might be surprised to find Iceberg right under him. As the smoke will fade, Iceberg might have the advantage here. Oh no, Era goes back. He's actually looking into the smoke, and he gets the first frag onto Iceberg.
Right open, and if you want to close it out right here and dominate Trick in the first map, they're going to need the confidence for a nuke. It's still going to be a tough map for them if they want to close it out in a 2-0 fashion. Prime propped up, but he's low, so if he does decide to go through with this, he gets dropped really easily, and Nyla will facilitate that. 24 frags for the man already, and Max, they're tucked away in the corner. One that you usually don't really check, but is there a barrel poking out? Where's he doing all the checking? But that's where Maxer is going to come through. Doesn't get a second. That AK rings loud, but Nyla is going to find Scott with his pants down. He's immediately going to pounce on that frag. 4v1. Lucky gets the first. There's still so much work that it needs to do, and with that also getting the bomb down in 15 seconds, where NIP can just send players time after time, and he gets the timing off, and Adam will punish. 16-5 for NIP.
What a way to start here. Again, young ninjas, just very, very big props to them. They played really well. They played smartly. They actually took the right decisions most of the time. Sometimes it didn't really go their way, but still it was good ideas. And at the same time, I really like them bouncing back from the loss that they had against Endpoint, where they were completely dominated in the first half, and in the second one, they didn't really get a lot of chances to do anything. But here against Strict, we can see them that they're back, and they're back to play, and they managed to win their own map pick with a 16-5.
And a very important part about that is that they were able to flash everybody off the angles again. In the matchup against Endpoint, that really wasn't the case anymore, and they struggled a whole lot. But now that they're getting those flashes connected and having the proper pipelines and the communication, so everybody from your team turns away from the flash, you're quickly able to gather up those angles. But then you're also going to be doing that on Nuke, or you're going to have to do it on Nuke against a team like Trix. It's going to be a tough one to take down, but you can have a crack at it. But that's only going to happen after you've been made to sit down for about 10 minutes or so. Just give them a little bit of a break, gather up some water, toilet break, whatever you need. Go and do that as well. We're going to be right back after this break.
A very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move, one push. One touch. One love. One click. One X-Bet.
Are you sick of just opening cases? Join the events! At each event, you can find special cases from which tokens fall. Tokens are your ticket into a world of unique awards. For tokens, you can buy a skin, premium, or special balance. Try your luck in the skin generator. Also, you can leave your tokens at the token vault, and the more tokens you keep, the better skin you'll get. Add variety to opening cases with Hellcase.
The hunger for glory feeds the desire, the courage to look for for a challenge. To feed your ambitions. To reach for greatness. To become the champion of champions.
Welcome back, and we are on the we aren't on the map yet. We're gonna get ready for the second map. You know, it is still me and Dan, so don't you worry. We're gonna take you through this one as well, and also the next best of 3, and also possibly the third map. I don't know what I'm saying, but we're gonna go on to Nuke. Now, Nuke, it's an interesting one. 22 maps played for Trekt in the past 3 months, at least for the core of them, for the at least 3 players, right? And they're on 41% win rate. The thing is, they're on a big losing streak, and since they changed the player, they're still on that losing streak. Now, Young Ninjas, sure, they have 4 maps played, no wins so far, but maybe this can be their first. Let's see what happens. Nuke.
Nuke indeed is the one to come up. But Tricks, they're starting on the T side. And these odds are flipped upside down. So I'm going to assume that NIP are 118. And there we go. That is more like it. 1xbet odds displayed correctly. You can check that out at cct.gg/1xbet. But early damage taken by Lucky. LNZ got tagged up a little bit, very much the same with Scott, but Lucky, he's going to be limping through the rest of this round. Quest through the door. Nyla will decapitate as soon as the rest enters. Maxer is also given some covering fire from up above, and that just leaves Iceberg in the pistol. This is not looking good.
No. Bomb not in his possession, and he's going to be pushed here by 3 players. Yeah, I mean, Young Ninjas winning the first one. So far it is good, but they need to, of course, win a lot more. So, what I'm thinking here is, right, both teams maybe not feeling all that confident, but at the same time, I feel like Young Ninjas picked into this one, probably suggested by their coach, just because of the losing streak. And I don't know if you can base your choosing only off of that. I'll also go through that they played against Copenhagen Flames. Their latest result, it was 16-13, and Copenhagen Flames, they're a very good Nuke team, so that is not a bad result at all. But let's see against the Glocks here, because Era was struggling a little bit against the Glock of Iceberg. He's down to 11 HP, but he is still alive. He did spot out Prime there, trying to surprise someone with the Zeus, but I don't think Young Ninjas are going to be too aggressive against the Glock round.
Yeah, they're just cutting down, but I think it's a combination of NRP feeling more confident. Zeus! No, Maxer, you bloody boring man. You could have just let Prime get the Zeus kill, give them something, give them a little bit of happiness. But I think it's a combination between Young Ninjas also wanting to practice this map a little bit more and get a deeper pool, because if you're in a team like Young Ninjas, you basically want a widest possible map pool. You want to be able to do decently on every single map, because you are going to be fitting into a different team at a later stage, or at least that's the idea, right? So you want to have versatile players. And it seemed like they were trying that over at the end of January as well. Both of them were like, nah, we're not going to mess about with this. We are going to write this map off. And then they started playing it again at the start of this month. And yeah, sure, they lost both times, but 16-13 loss against Copenhagen Flames, certainly not something to scoff at. But one thing Trick really had issue with yesterday against Nexus is that quick, flagrant style, and that's exactly what NLP could bring on the T side as well. So Trick, they really need to step up on CT, but first they've got another half, or an entire half in front of them.
Well, now to play with the AKs with the smokes, we'll see where that gets them, right? Because they have the better weaponry. There's only a single M4 on the side of Young Ninjas, and that is, of course, Era. But they are pushing into Garage here, just for a second. And at the same time, they're taking control of trophy room. They got a Wiz out of the equation and also get themselves a weapon. Era takes down Iceberg. That was the player trying to lurk outside. So they are already in a very good spot. Nilo, managing to find at least one. That is very important because he would have been in a bad spot. But Prime, the double kill. The bomb is now being planted and he was spotted. But nice headshot to Era. And this is more like Prime. Maybe he wasn't feeling the best in the first map, but right now, a beautiful triple kill just to get his team in a very good spot. 2-on-1 LNC slowly closing in on their position, but it might be too hard to get through two players here. LNC getting very close to Scott, swings, but Scott nails the headshot, and that is the first round going the way of Tricked on mainly the effort of Rhyme. I mean, they lost a lot of players. They were in a bad spot, actually, in a 4-on-2 after the kill in that B side. But after that, Prime steps up, gets the triple kill, gets Tricked. Their first round on the board here on the T side of Nuke.
And Nilo, he fully expected somebody to swing from down below, but that's why it's so smart for Trick to walk underneath the railing a little bit. And that's where they started stepping out. And Trick's a pivotal round for them as they don't allow NIP to get a bonus one. They still have another buy coming through. Adam B burning alive, so he's going to be able to scoot over to the left. Adam, he's spotted by Quez, who's, I don't know how he's made it that deep into the site without anybody punishing, but this is not a hold that you would like to see again from NIP. But they're going to save those weapons over. There's no need to go for this one.
What up? It's a frag onto Lucky. And the bomb just now has been planted, but I don't think there's enough time for them to try and go for it, but there's not enough space. Maybe now with the situation being presented as a 3-on-2, as Strict, they keep on, well, Lucky wasn't necessarily hunting. Iceberg was getting closer to the enemy players, but this is not really a situation where you want to lose a lot of weapons if you're Tricked, right? You don't have a lot of money in the bank, not a lot of money to work with. There's going to be some drops. There's going to be some money expended for the next round. So even though you get the equalizer, this is a very early equalizer. It is 2-2, and you might run out of money sooner than you expect. So the main point is Young Ninjas, even if they would have gotten, if Tricked would have gotten the weapons off of them, it would have been a clean eco. But right now, the AK and the AWP can be a danger to the side of Tricked, that at least to get some money off of them, if not actually deal some great damage. But it is all down to how Tricked play this round out, because if they actually manage to avoid the two weapons, they are probably going to save again. If they go straight towards them, well, then it can be another situation. But they are going towards ramp, and Nilo, he might be too late to the party here.
Oh, big time. He's going to have to relent this the entire step of the way. And Trick, they've got a free site up ahead of them, and for NIP, utilize those USPs as a meat shield as they want to exit this site. But apart from that, I don't think there's a whole lot you want to do here. You certainly don't want to die to the MAC-10. It's just going to allow a whole lot of money. But NIP, they're already sitting into CT spawn. Nilo as far away from this as possible. And the USPs are still set up to get some exits. You really don't need more out of a round like this as long as you're able to carry over the AWP. It's more the money play right now for NIP and not the hero play, and that's in general what CSGO turned into. You don't often see a 1v3 clutch because they just don't go for it. Why would you go for it? The odds are stacked against you pretty heavily, and Adam even dies to the bomb.
Well, as you were pointing out a very good point before, where if you're on the Young Ninjas roster, the main point is just to get better and better, so you will get peaked by another team and go on to play there. But I was thinking how the main team that could pick them up is NIP, basically the main team of NIP, and for them at least in the previous 3 months, they quickly checked. For them, Nuke is their best map. 100% win rate. Sure, they played it only 3 times, but they won it every time. And if you are not able to play that map, well, which is their best map, they have to also teach you the ropes of the map as well, and maybe you'll not be the prime candidate. Of course, I'm just only assuming it is probably not gonna take a player in based on the previous maps that he played with his team and how good he was in those maps. If he's overall a good player, it doesn't really matter. But I'm just pointing out that you gotta have a very deep knowledge of the game and also of the maps just to have a better chance by being pinked into another team. Now, I don't know what Iceberg was doing there, walking with his back turned towards the enemy, but Lucky finds LNZ. Right now, this is a 4-on-3 situation as they're trying to get onto that B site. There's only 2 players here. One of them is outside. Prime almost staying alive. Nasty spray there, but it gets the job done. Wes winning the duel against Adam B, but this is still a 3-on-2. Maybe like a 2-on-2, but they're very low HP.
And there's still a nade on Nilo as well. They're going to be able to get that bomb down, it seems like. There's no chance for NOP to lob that nade over. And this is still a round that's alive with Lucky. He actually doesn't have an ult. That's unfortunate. You really want an ult when you're low HP. And that's massive out of Quez. I don't know. He just moved outside so quickly. And Nilo now in a 1v2. Quez on 4 HP. The best play to go for is just to get a bit of a gambit going. Put yourself out there. You could be looking ridiculous, but Lucky around the corner. Nilo turns around there, and oh no! Lucky doesn't actually get the frag, and now Nilo looks for the bomb for a little bit. He taps it, and Quez, he's going to be flashing himself in. Nilo, you still have a... Oh my god, this is ballsy. And Nilo actually goes up, and it works out. He doesn't have time, though, I don't think. It's going to be cutting it so close, but indeed he doesn't. Nilo waited too long, and you had a nade all along.
I mean, you know how usually when you wait for a little bit, then you take the utility out. That's when the enemy peeks you. So I guess he wanted to eliminate that possibility, but at the same time, he would have won the round.
As soon as he threw this flash, that's where you could just lob the nade and return. Oh, you want to peek me? I'm gonna nade you.
But yeah, I mean, those are the situations where you can differentiate between players that have the experience that is needed and players that maybe not, they don't have it yet.
And usually you can make a case of, well, it's unconfirmed damage, but I don't think it should have been in this particular case because Quez was up in the duel against Maxter, and Maxter put 2 MP9 bullets in his dome. So you're going to hear those 2 dinks come through. So you're going to be able to call that he's insanely low. And it's a tough one for Young Ninjas with the Trick now on to 4 already, and they could quickly start getting away with this.
Yeah, I mean, again, for Trick, it seemed like in the previous 3 months in the maps that they played. Well, actually, no, in the matches that they played with this roster, their T side was better. I mean, way better than their CT side. CT side round win percentage 17.9, which is very bad considering how Nuke is CT sided. And this could turn into a very, very close game towards the second half. But I would expect Trick to do pretty well here on their own T side and get more rounds than the Young Ninjas in the first 15. But we'll see. So far, they still have an M4. They still have the pistols. And even with those, they can still surprise the side of Trick. As Iceberg is already down to 44, but they are playing it very slowly, very methodically. They're waiting for the pistols to peek them. But I don't think Young Ninjas are about that. Even if they have the lesser weaponry, they would much rather play it safe, wait for the enemy to push, and maybe they can surprise them with the pistols instead of pushing. And that just ensures that you're probably going to be peeked at some point by the pistols. And look at that,
no.
Adam B getting the double kill and also the bomb down. That is very bad for the side of Craig. Lucky manages to get a double kill for himself as well. Might be tagged up, but at least makes it a 3-on-3.
28 seconds, though. They're going to need to move about this quickly. And Maxter is still coming in from behind. Gets a freebie on Prime. Iceberg, meanwhile, coming in on Heaven. Nilo's going to be watching this. Oh, yep, certainly. It was very scary because Iceberg was also hidden behind the barrel. Now it's NIP who's striking around that they probably shouldn't be winning. So NIP, they've lost 2 4v2s, but they've also won a eco, or at least buying up some pistols and an A4, whatever their money allowed them to. And Tricked, they're not really going to be hampered by their progress. Of course, you know, you lost a round, but they've still got money.
Well, that's sure not a happy point for Tricked, as you would expect, of course, because basically that CZ play got them most of the way there, and that was only prompted because of the molly coming in on top of Hut. Because if there was no molly, sure, there was a very hard angle to check, but the CZ would have still been there. No, that is not a bad find by Iceberg, taking down LNC. Oh, Nilo, not the cleanest spray. He has to back away here. 22 HP. Era won't take his place, but he might be too late. Prime already took down Adam B, and they have a free way into that B site. Actually, a couple of freeways, as still secret is an option. Now, Prime is very far away from basically where the bomb is being planted, but I don't think Young Ninjas are actually going for this. So no, they have two players in CT.
Yeah, this is a typical Trick play. They've oftentimes got Prime or another players, oftentimes Prime, sitting behind when they've found the opening frags, just to try and catch off anybody who wants to save it over. But Tricked on the T side, certainly not having an issue. Lucky, probably not going to challenge that one too much longer. But yesterday as well, Tricked managed to get 8 rounds on the T side and then still lost 16-10 and just getting overwhelmed. But NIP seem to struggle so much, and one quick look over to the kill distribution in their team can indicate and can tell you exactly why they're struggling. They've got one man carrying the entire team thus far, and the rest is not really pulling their weight in terms of fragging, and the Tricks are just moving through too easily, and at that point, you're not going to be able to fight it back from a 3v5.
Right now, this is the first tactical timeout we've seen, and I do know the Young Ninjas, they use their tactical timeout whenever they're feeling a little bit pressured, whenever it is not their best situation going through the map right now. But the thing is, Tricked, we haven't seen them use any in the previous map, and I don't know if that helps out a lot. I mean, the coach could have had an input on whatever was happening. They lost 16-5. It was not that good at all. But hey, maybe here Abdi, he can shine some light on the players, on his players basically, and get them to win some more of those CT rounds, as they will desperately need them onto into the next half, right? As they get into the less favored side, into the D side, they're gonna need a lot more. Oh, good molly there to force out Adam B, but he's still in Raptors, and Maxter took down one player. There's a couple of trades, but Adam B finds Iceberg. The bomb running towards that B site, but Prime, he's by himself in this one.
He does get a free plant, and the rest are cutting off rotations. Lucky has got a very quick way back into the vents to try and contest this site. So NIP, even if they get on the defuse, Lucky should be there within an instant. Prime, pretty clearing out some angles, giving a bit more leeway to Tricks, and Lucky is already going to move down into the vent. Knows that there's not going to be a rotation coming through at this moment, and if it does, that's just ludicrous. Prime, I love this position. And Lucky will start spraying, doesn't get the one, and that's going to be the defuse for NIP. Nicely worked 3-on-2, and they finally managed to squeeze through a round where they've got the advantage in. But a bomb plant on the side of Tricks is going to fatten that piggy bank nicely, and they'll continue to keep it coming.
Yeah, because of the rounds that they won, it is not bad at all for them. But it seems like it turned into a technical pause. What I can assume to be on the side of Tricked, as only Scott brought up. But yeah, they can still afford a buy here, Tricked, so it's not going to be looking too bad for them. But again, this is I'm sure that this is not enough from them, and Young Ninjas with that technical pause that they got in, maybe they found the winning formula, how to get the better defense on against the side of Tricked, because it worked in the previous round, and maybe if they can keep it up, they could end with a very good CT half.
Seems like we found the issue. Quez getting disconnected from the server. Just a little Discord, a little CSGO crash coming through for him. We should be back on the road shortly. But Young Ninjas, if they just manage to keep this one close, obviously the statistic for Young Ninjas is absolutely horrid. If you purely look at that, there's no chance in hell that they're ever getting this map through. But if they do decently on the CT side, I think they can squeeze that advantage by just overwhelming Tricked round after round purely by the mechanical ability, kind of the same what happened on Mirage. And unless Tricked have found some new confidence overnight or have found new ways to hold a play like that off, then I don't really spell too much fortune for them. Ultimately, they're still winning.
And yeah, it is just, I mean, this map is just looking very weird for both of the teams. Now, again, Tricked, they were a very good nuke team, but as they do have that loss streak, and also after Scott came into the team, still they haven't really won any nukes. Young Ninjas, they haven't won any nukes in the past past four performances, but at least we're close, and we're close against teams that do know how to play nuke really well, i.e. Copenhagen Flames. But I can only think like this can just turn out to be just a very close game, as it is so far, right? Because you wouldn't expect to see just a one-sided affair from, let's say, Drake from now on, because still, it seems like both teams are kind of struggling on this one again. Oh,
Phil Molly doesn't really indicate any different. He's ballsy to move through with the knife out when there was a failed smoke out of Tricks that allowed a gap in main. Ooh. But they managed to make it in, and they still get through. Tricks. After this round, they don't really have another buy coming through, but with Iceberg's position, they can try and utilize Era defensive approach to this spot. Want to get more aggressive. There's a whole artillery utility. Needs to back down pretty far now, though. But that molly, it does a bit of damage, but it will also be to his advantage thereafter, where he can just smoke it off and immediately be safe on the opposite end. Trick can't really move. And Nilo peeking out the wrong way. Now, as soon as he gets back from behind the silo, Lucky is going to have him pinned down. Iceberg, even though this is a spectacular shot, they just need to hit one bullet and he's out. Even a nade lob down, which they've got one over on Max there. You've got LNZ now coming through from behind. I'm pretty sure Lucky is holding this, and the kill on the feed indicates that exactly. But Adam trying to maneuver. He's with the pistol out, so he's not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage, but at least what you've got is mobility and trying to dodge those op shots. Lucky, he's gone more on the defensive, and now there's a second player, but Lucky does immaculately. Era now with a pistol up against Lucky, and Scott also deals with his direct opponent. Lucky carrying the round on the back with a 4K.
I can only feel like that situation could have been played differently, as they had to take down another different player, even if they took down Lucky. So maybe isolate him somehow with some utility and keep his attention towards there while you're trying to take down his colleague. Because after that, you can just play in with multiple players trying to take on Lucky at the same time. Because even though it was two players pushing Lucky, he managed to isolate those two peaks, and that was exactly what he needed. Now Scott, he already took down Adam B, so that is a very fast start to the round here. As Iceberg takes down LNZ, and Iceberg is constantly going outside by himself, making it into the secret, just keeping B open as an option.
He has been a spectacular option for Trick thus far. And now with 2 entries, that's probably going to continue. Max there tagged by the Flames. He now needs to make it out, and this is a tough spot for Max there. Waiting for the smokes or for the Flames to die down. Let's give him a way back, and all of a sudden with just one frag and Maxter relatively dominantly winning that duel, Maxter is going to make it through again. Quez, did he spot something? There's a tiny gap in the smoke, it seems like, but it's so tough to spot anybody behind it. But Iceberg is also low. Maxter, he's got it all to do on A, with Iceberg coming through out of heaven, Prime, he's actually got his back turned. Iceberg is going to be showing himself rather soon, and Maxter fires on the wrong opponent. Era wants to make it through, but it's probably best if you just save this orb. You don't manage to because Iceberg was already in heaven.
I don't know. Young Ninjas, they were too focused on the B side, even though, again, Iceberg has been doing the same thing for the past 4 rounds, which was pushing outside and getting himself into secret, either successfully or he was taken out by a player earlier on. But again, they were very hard at focusing onto that on that B site. Didn't have a control outside, didn't really have a way to help out Maxter. So with that trick, just got themselves in a very good situation, and it is going to be again pistols for the Young Ninjas, but this time, sure, there's still the CZ in play, but without armors and also a couple of USPs. This should just be an easy cleanup for the side of Tricked, and that's exactly what they're doing. LNZ and Nilo, or rather only Nilo left alive with that P250, taken out by Scott, and that is 8 for Tricked. If somehow Young Ninjas, they find the next 3, it is still Tricked in the lead at halftime points, so it's not really going to be a very hard issue, a very big issue, right? As again, it is their own map pick. Sure, in the past matches, it was the T side better, way better than the CT side, but that's not necessarily something that applies to all of the games, right? It can be just a statistic for those certain matches, and since then maybe something changed, or only playing a different team.
I think for NIP being quite inexperienced in officials on this map, you're going to try a variety of things just to switch it up, see what you're comfortable with thereafter. Era, no money for an ult, but an org will do. Still starts with an ace, similar vibes, and with a headshot, it can quickly get rid of players as well. And that's 2 entries for NIP. If they get the remainder of the rounds, still not great statistically, but perhaps Adam on Quez. Oh, yeah, no, Quez has better eyes in that particular engagement. Quez also starts running back and disallows Maxter to try and get that refrag, so the advantage will still be held by NLP, but it's being fought back by Tricked right now, who still have got some utility and plenty of time to run over to a site that they can start opening up, and with Lucky going outside, if there's anybody challenging it, then there really won't be a long range. There's actually the org holding it. But apart from that, you've got LNZ set up in secret already. It's that postage, and I don't think you peak this too much if you're Era. You've got the advantage. No need to try and engage yourself in long-range duels. There's already a player waiting for them that should disallow them from a bomb plant. Molly goes in the vent. It doesn't really seem like Tricks are fully biting down on nobody being here. They're still checking their corners. Era coming through. Era is going to get every single frag. Where the hell did he come from? He just ran in behind them.
Oh, AUG, I guess, is the way to go. Just ignore the op, ignore the M4, just play the AUG. I mean, and again, when you play this, because it is different. However, like, there's a way to play the op, there's a way to play the M4, and there's a way to play the AUG. You can't really play the M4 as the AUG because you're going to be a little bit farther behind with the AUG using the scope, but you can play the same as with the op because you got limited mobility, so you can't really be in those situations where you can be caught out, and if you miss your shot, you're going down. So the AUG offers a different kind of gameplay for the player that uses it. And well, for Era, he was not bad at all, as seen in the previous round where he got the ace basically. But let's see if he can use it again to get a multi-kill. Adam B was taken down by the molly, but this time they're actually going heavily into that B side, and LNZ, he can be very fast. Nilo caught on the railing by 2 players, and Era, you don't hear the bomb being planted by Scott, but can he get the frags here with the AUG?
That's decent because you're going to have a lot of heads poking through. Quez trying to hold the rotation, but they're...
Oh.
Wait. Ninjas are saving already. Okay, 4-on-4 save. They've got so much utility, but I guess they just think that they're too far erased from the site. And I don't know. not the biggest fan of this one because they have got some money coming through. And the loss bonus, I think, is pretty decent on the side of NIP. If my memory serves me correct, there it's going to come up in the back of Prime. A bit of lackadaisicalness on their end. If they hold on to all these rifles, they're going to have another buy coming through. It got close. Yeah, now you've just got enough because you had another player die. And I guess a 2400 loss bonus is not really enough to facilitate yourself with another one. But they're allowing tricks through way too easily, especially if you're going to leave the B bomb site as soon as they're on there. You need to do a better job, and I don't really like Nilo's positioning every single time because the way that tricks are approaching the site, they can peek out from basically everywhere, and they're going to get the drop on you unless you guess correctly. That's a brilliant nade on trick, though. Oh my, they tried to dive down the vent, and they're being halted at the very gate.
Well, they do get at least 3 players down there. Nilo throws nade, Quez down to 11 HP. Oof. And LNZ finds a headshot onto Iceberg. That was the only player not towards that B site just yet. Prime has to get a double kill, I would assume, but LNZ, it seemed like he actually popped his head into the crosshair of Prime, but he was still enough to take him down. Wes tries to take the double for himself, but well, Nilo just shoots him in the back, but the nade would have been enough, and lucky behind the molly here. The bomb is being defused at this point at a B. Swings around, and that is round number 6 for the Young Ninjas. A 3-round lead for Drake. Now, that is not all bad, but again, judging by only the percentages, Young Ninjas should be able to take this home, as Drake, again, are on like 17% win rate on this T side of Nuke. But that's not necessarily accurate, again, because Young Ninjas are also on 37 on T side. So we'll see exactly what happens because we get into the second half. Tricked on the favorite side of the map, but not their favorite side, at least judging by the numbers. But with a 3-round deficit, Young Ninjas, if they get the pistol round, I mean, they could even tie up the score very early on.
If you have one quick look at the kills, this is such a weird scoreline because Young Ninjas have actually been fragging out a decent amount more than Tricked, but still there's a 3-round gap in there. And of course, that's got something to do with Ninja saving over 4 of the weapons in one of the rounds. But overall, Tricks have got a good advantage set up, and one that they should be able to carry over and convert this map and go on to Vertigo. But they already had some issue yesterday, and that really does scare me. That they might not have that same confidence as they once had on the CT side, because on Nuke, it is so tough to rotate over as soon as Young Ninjas. Yeah, it's a very quick rotation through the vent, but it's not like you've got a solid foothold. You can walk through 2 tiny gaps where the crosshair placement can really only be in one spot, and you'll immediately die off of the back of it as well. So yes, there's quick rotations, but you still need to be there way before NIP. They're going to go so quickly. Lucky sprays blindly in the smoke as they're all diving down the vent. There, he's still the lookout. LNZ will get another frag, but now LNZ is kind of cut off by Prime. Not anymore. Prime cuts off the blood circulation to his head since he decapitated him entirely. But Iceberg, he's got his flag planted on the bomb.
Rushing in a little bit, I feel like, to get the ball planted, but Quez, he can be the key player here. Maybe he's not going to be checked in the off angle. LNZ swings, but Quez gets both headshots, and that is double digits for Drecht. Good way to start around here, as it was looking very crisp from the youngsters, from the Young Ninjas. They were getting those headshots that they needed. Well, it was a 3-on-2, and in that situation, just as you were spotted rushing down the vent, just to go out and plant by yourself, and not even in a safe spot behind the bomb site. Basically, he was just planting in basically the open, and of course they're gonna realize that something's up, as I think this bomb was also spotted. So at the pistols again, trying to go through Squeaky, but that is Iceberg and Lucky cleaning the situation, and Prime takes down Nilo. That is already 11, but he was only in eco out of the Young Ninjas. So yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit of a rushed reaction into that pistol round, and we could see a tactical pause if they actually lose this one, Young Ninjas. I feel like that's the moment where you would call your second tactical pause.
yeah, at that point, you really need to start changing things around. But I'm going for the event dive on the second round as well. Sure, why not? I mean, it's probably not going to work out, but if you get the bomb plan, you've done more than enough. And as long as you can occupy them a little bit longer. But a bonus round coming through for Trick. 2 MP9s on the cards. And NIP, they've got 5 acres, and that's actually where they've been the strongest. Also, Mirage. It's not really been with the AWP of Era. It's really been with all the AKs. They're able to challenge quickly and be very fluid with them. Tricked. They're having a very free outside setup. NIP will throw the smokes over, but it's not a wall of smokes to prevent. And one lands really weird on the side of A, all the way at the back. Oh, yeah, that's just a failed one big time. I was going to say, there's no way that one is actually going to be working out. And NIP fail in the setup. Master is still going to tie it back into a 4-on-4. But NIP, they're just getting picked apart one by one.
Still hesitating to push into that A side. Well, they do know there was a player very far back, and Scott actually gets himself a double kill. He wasn't spotted at all. There was no molly. There was nothing. He was just waiting on top of hut. Young Ninjas, wrong approach here. I mean, they knew that there was a player next to, well, CT spawn. They knew there was a player coming in from secret, so probably ramp was open. But at the same time, they were hesitating a long time, pushing into that A side and actually checking the angles. And there's no way you can't check on top of hut. That's a very played position. And to be honest, luckily Scott didn't peek earlier, because if he would have gotten more kills. Right now, as Strict get to 12, Young Ninjas, they have a pistol round going off.
Quickly, but yet again, they don't check on top of the hut. Scott is burning alive, however. That's going to allow them a rifle. This is going to be tough. Quez, he's been found out. Why are you so intent on picking up that Tech 9? And yeah, you're going to get overrun, and that's a kill for Maxer, but he's not being kept safe. Iceberg is going to be overrun. And Ara with everything to do right now. It's Strict with another round one, inching closer and closer to the map victory.
I don't know. It seems very chaotic what Young Ninjas are trying to do. That's at least my feeling so far. Their attacks are not really all that coordinated, and that's when Tricked can actually pull through with that one. But as we get into round number 20, do make sure you check out Hellcase, our partner at CCT, and get your skins there, and also get yourself into some giveaways, or just use the code CCT for a 10% top-up bonus, working for both new and old users. Now going into round number 20, Tricked, they're 3 rounds away from ending this map, and Young Ninjas, they are yet to win a round on that T side.
It very much feels like NIP want to adhere to the quick and efficient strategy, but there is a certain nuance to it that if you do it every single time, and it's not going to work. And you also need to be able to thrive in the chaos. You need to be able to pick your opponent apart and really wreak havoc. And instead, it's NIP who are getting picked apart time and time again by the aggression for Trick. Quez also with an absolutely stellar round out of him. A 3k picks up. Prime is going to die by the hands of Nyla, but there really shouldn't be anything else. And NIP swept to the wayside once again as Tricks. They're looking very close to just winning out this map.
I mean, what was working best on Mirage, on the T set of Mirage for Young Ninjas, right? It was those aggressive plays when they surprised Tricked and they were just getting the headshots. But so far, they only went for those slow plays, and that's exactly why Tricked, they can just pick them off one by one. Because again, just going back rounds, they were hesitating and pushing. And I do understand you are being led here. Technically, the enemy team is feeling better, but you have to show some some resilience and also some aggression on this side. Because if not, the game will just end as it is. It will just end with Tricked winning, and you're going into the third map, right? And Lucky takes down Nilo. That makes it a 5-on-4 as LNZ tries to trade onto Prime, but didn't really get a lot of chances. And he took him down to 27, but not enough to take him out. Wes taking the duel against two players makes it back with full HP and dealing a lot of damage. That is well done there by Quez, because he can still put a lot of pressure onto this ramp position.
Yeah, so much damage already done down the end of NIP. And Lucky, why are you sitting in CT spawn? And more importantly, why is that actually working out? That's just the heads up play to go for something out there. And they actually fall for it. Quez had a tiny spot of an arm, and he realized that there's only really one way that they give up a round like this. And that's by him overextending. He doesn't do that by any stretch of the imagination. Even if we would go down, I'm pretty sure the A1S would just fall right down below him. Not anymore, of course, but Era. Yeah, in a 1v5, you're not really putting too much on his plate.
I mean, even if in this situation you have two players going down the ramp, and the third one just slowly coming in to help them out, but you're not waiting for them, and you're not double peeking those angles. You're basically just walking into the crosshair of the M4 one by one, just giving it a better situation. So that is map point for Tricked. 100% deserved. They played way better into this one. In Young Ninjas, I don't know what happened compared to the first map, because I mean, it's the no win so far showing through. It is, I don't know what it is, but they're defaulting back to their slow play style, and again, that doesn't work. At least here against this team on this map, it doesn't work. You need to change something up, and nothing has been changed up since we started this second half.
Prime, he's gonna wish there was a prone button now, and then they could just veer underneath the smoke. But NIP, they've been able to sneak through. Era's guard on the opposite end, but Iceberg, he's gonna have everything on his plate, whether he's gonna gobble them up or whether he's going to be iced out. He needs to have a quick flick. Iceberg actually spots him first, and the initial peek was just a jiggle. Iceberg is going to be able to get back onto the site, immediately gets dropped out, and then is Lucky's chance. He's already showed up massively. Quez deals with Maxer. Meanwhile, at the opposite end of this bomb site, Prime gets a freebie on Era, who oversteps and Tricked. They've gotten or NIP have gotten the bomb down, but that is Adam walking right into the scope of Lucky. And it feels like a very bleak end to the story out of LNZ here. Just one player, a singular one left alive in a 1v4. He does manage to get the first and perhaps a second. Scott did actually line up. Spray just off the mark, and Trick, they win out in their own map pick 16-6.
Yeah, I mean, with a 10-round lead just to end it there in favor of Trick, and them stopping or ending their losing streak on this map, it is just very, very good to see for Trick. But God's, I don't know why I'm. Oh, that's a quick new background for you. Well, I'll let you leave in your vacation there, and I'll just keep on rambling on into this one. But yeah, I don't know why I wanted to say Gods and Young Ninjas. Yeah, it was. I feel like it wasn't their best performance. I don't even know if I can say not even the best performance. It was on the T side. They haven't gotten any rounds, and not using the same strategies that on Mirage worked against the same threat. But Nuke, they didn't use them. They used a slow play style, which didn't work on Mirage.
It's another. It was a howler. It was an absolutely dreadful T side out of them, not being able to get a singular round and not really fluctuating in the strategy. To a certain extent, they tried, but it just wasn't enough. And Young Ninjas, that means they're going to have to duke it out on Vertigo, which is an incredibly strong map out of them. And on the opposite end, it's a pretty strugglesome map for Trick, but we'll get into that after a little break. We'll see you after this.
A very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move. One push. One touch. One love. One click. One XBet.
Tired of boring case openings? Do you always get only cheap skins? The Hellcase website has tons of options to upgrade your inventory. It's up to you to participate in giveaways, events, or compete with other players in opening cases. Hellcase, your world of expensive skins.
The hunger for glory feeds the desire. The courage to look for a challenge. To feed your ambitions. To reach for greatness. To become the champion of champions.
And we do need a decider, of course, for this series, and it is Vertigo coming right up. Young Ninjas looking better in terms of win rate, but tricked. Technically, they played more maps. Now, if you look over at all of the maps that were played in the 5-man roster that it is right now, Young Ninjas, they played it 5 times, and they actually won 3 times out of that against the Apex Eyeballers and Apex Rebels. But Trick, they only played it once, and they lost against Mouse NXT 16-8. That was actually 6 days ago. But I don't know. I wouldn't judge it only by that one, but they have a more experience than Young Ninjas onto this one. So this one should be interesting then.
Yeah, but I feel like challenging endpoint and taking Copenhagen Flames to an OT is a very solid result out of Young Ninjas, and at least that is carrying behind them, but it was a very disappointing performance out of them on Nuke. But I do think it's a bit of a pick that was out there, you know, they tried something, it didn't work. You've got a 3-mapper, you are in the 0-1 stage of the Swiss bracket, so you don't have an insane amount of leeway because reverse sweep in the bracket doesn't happen very often. But if you do manage to still get that 3rd map, who really cares, right? You just got some extra officials in and some more practice. But the game is live, and let's just get on with it.
Now, Young Ninjas, they are starting on the CT side, and Trick, they're on T side. And we do see the odds still favoring Young Ninjas, even though at first it was Trick that was heavily favored by those odds in the first map. So make sure you check out cct.gg/1xbet, but do remember to bet responsibly. Now, Maxter, a couple of flashes in the defuse kit. Duels already. Era taking down Lucky, getting the headshot there. And the mollies are still in place, but I guess they're missing a smoke now, which is a little bit of a problem. They're going to use the mollies at least to block the positions and the vision also of Young Ninjas, but they could get to the site. Oh, the second molly failed.
Oh no. Oh, that's such a huge error. It allows NIP to start closing the gap way early, and with a flash coming through as well, they really need to duke this one out close range. Prime moving through the smoke though, he's gonna get a whole lot of frags and also throw disarray into the CT side, and Trick will still end up winning the round in a 4v5 and a tough second molly that was failed. They managed to maneuver their way through and still dispatch of Young Ninjas, who kind of got lost in the aggression that they wanted to show for themselves, because Trick, they matched that aggression with everybody challenging as well. So it wasn't really like a 5-man overwhelming spot on one of the players. It was a 5v4, and when you're getting shot at from all different angles, it's really tough to divert and distribute your team so you get your individual battles.
Well, now with the USPs, it is only at going to fake out multiple players on this A side, but it seems like tricked they won't be pulled out that easy. As Era is actually moving into mid, and his teammates are actually pushing B main. They're gonna get a lot of info. Do they have enough time to rotate in? Because Trick, they're usually kind of slow as well. And Quez, he was waiting for a flank to happen, and LNZ is actually on that flank. But Iceberg is already on the side, and he will be very happy to use this Mac 10 to just get rid of all those USPs. Good mollies thrown by the side of Trick as well, just to keep Young Ninjas at bay. And what is the plan of Young Ninjas here? Just maybe exit frags late in the round, or at some point just push together? Because they're waiting a long time.
Oh, I can tell you what the idea is. NIP waiting until the very end, until Tricked have moved away from the bomb site and they start sitting on that little corner. And as soon as they start sitting in that corner, you just have 5 USPs push you, try to do some damage. And with that, try to get them out of the round entirely. But Prime, he still needs to back down, and Tricks are going to win. And Trick knew that as well, because, yeah, this is exactly what I mean, where Scott and Prime would be sitting. You don't take a whole lot of damage, but if you get tagged up by the USPs, you're going to die anyway. You don't really care if you do die. You just want to do as much exit damage, but Trick went proactive, went in front, and they show some heads-up play.
And well, now with the M4s, gonna try and stop Trick in their tracks here early on. As again, it is the deciding map, but it is not the last best of 3. Remember, there's another best of 3 after this one. Era, being aggressive here, mostly by himself. There's a couple of flashes coming through, but he gets the double kill. At the same time, trying to play through mid might be hard, as Milo has a good angle, and he takes down Quez, will hide behind the sandbags, and will actually smoke himself out. That is perfect.
Oh. Bigger brain than Skull. That's tough. And he didn't really hear it being dropped either. Lucky and Skull. In a 2v5, it's going to be rough to try and make that one work. At least you've got some utility to get yourself into the angles or in closer to the site. But mainly you're looking for a bomb plant here, nothing else. Lucky. Slowing around the corner, but Maxter evades him. Lucky. They've got time to play with, so he can set up defensively. Maxter is not going to start scouring, and I'm not too fond of this because Scott and Lucky are basically holding down the exact same spot. Scott is going to move up further, try to get closer into the site, flashed in, but they're still, as soon as a Trick show their presence, that's a beautiful flash in by NIP. Great team play, and Lucky by his lonesome gets clobbered off the map.
Well, now Tricked is the decision to buy up once again. Oof, this is very interesting here. We do see an AK from Lucky, but lacking head armor. Maybe he likes his AK skin a lot. And if you want to get your skin, well, if you want to get a skin that you like a lot, make sure you use Hellcase and use the code CCT for a 10% top-up bonus, working for both new and old users. Take 9s as well on the side of Tricked. And Flash will be coming through. Maxter alongside Nilo. They both peek into mid. And that is a good find. A quick double for the team. Just to make it that much harder. 5-on-3 as they're waiting for Trick to get their play done. In towards this B side. There's 3 players actually from Young Ninjas here. They read the situation perfectly. Nilo. Will he keep his head out? Oh, he spots Lucky. Now they know there's at least 2 players waiting there, and the smoke will come through as well. So that should confirm the position of the remainder of the Tricked players.
Ooh, Nilo overstepping and allowing some leeway for a trick, but then Maxer plugs up the hole again. Prime get his hands on the AK, but there's still a player at the back of sight, and this is going to be a really tough one. But LNZ spotted, and this is still getting costly for NIP. This could even be a lost round with Quez also picking up the rifle. Prime is going to need to plant, and then there is a molly on Adam, but he decides to take out his flash first because he's too far away from the site. The flash doesn't really do a whole lot. They know where Quez is now. But Era, oh, he went solo, and that's so dangerous because you allow them to individualize those duels. But in a P, they get it in their bag, and it's a well-known rule. If it works, it works, and there's not a bad play involved.
Now, as Trick did buy up here in the previous round, it will be a half buy. It will be pistols most of the time. And we do see this fine shot from Lucky once again.
Lovely one tap.
Yeah, but, well, now with the pistols, Trick only one armor onto Lucky could be the chance, or should be the chance, I should say, for the young ninjas to get control. Nice shot there by Quez. Okay, good start to the round. But can they find one more at least on the B side? Because that would be the only defender. That would be Nilo. If they can find the headshot onto him as well. Nade thrown by Nilo to get that M4 away from the enemy team, maybe. But even if that wasn't the case, that's exactly what happened. So that was still considered smart out of him.
Nilo, as soon as he peeks out, he needs to show up. Otherwise, Iceberg can close down quickly. You've still got Maxer to try and bridge the gap. Quez reduced to 1 HP. The molly should do it now. Finally, they've lobbed an entire battery of Yuto at him, but it's going to be the weapons instead that do the job that the utility couldn't do. And NIP, they managed to convert the round, but this was all in the plan of Tricks, or well, not probably not dying all 5 of them that quickly without getting any damage. But the idea was for this round to set up and get those 5 AKs out.
Now let's see what they can get done with those 5 AKs. Now, as I saw for the young ninjas, technically their stronger side, it is the T side. And they were trying to get aggressive in towards that B main position, but Quez gets rid of Nilo. There was no damage dealt for that nade, even though the push didn't really help out all that much. Quez down at 76, not really an issue in front of that B site yet. You do have the bomb towards there as well. Adam B will be falling back just because of that smoke. Maybe they're getting closer. He has no idea. They don't have a lot of info to play off of here, young ninjas. And it is a full execution onto the B side. Just now they will realize that they've been played, and the play will happen. Well, actually, it did already happen towards that B side. Molly shouldn't deny the bomb plant. It was a little bit too late. Just a little bit of Molly damage onto Iceberg, but with a 4-on-5. Are they actually going for this one? Because that is very far away, and they're actually backing off. Okay, so they will go for the save. But again, I feel like young ninjas, they lost the first play early on, but still didn't really have a lot of info to play off of. Maybe an aggressive play towards that A ramp or med, something to get them out of that situation where Trick has all the cards, and young ninjas, they can't really play with anything.
Yeah, because they've saved everything over, they get to have another run back at this in the next round. And it's not really that worrisome just yet. You're still in the vicinity where you can allow to give up a round and start prepping up for the next one. But saving over has been triggered quite quickly on the side of young ninjas. They've not really been interested in going for a 4-on-4 retake. Now on the B site, that does get really tough here. They did have some utility to get themselves through, but even then, B is just a tough site to crack open. Best to just save it over for this one time. Currently, still a performance of NIP where not all 5 of them are showing up, it seems like. You've got Adam, are on 0 frags, and Era and Max, they're on 8 and 7. LNZ also on 1. Nilo is kind of hanging in the middle, but NIP, they're not really firing at all cylinders at any moment, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're trying to get aggressive here, and Adam B finds Lucky. Primal trade, but that's some info at least. That's some space got on there, and oh, LNZ could actually find Quez as the molly has been thrown. He will need to smoke himself up, but Quez uses that chance to get even closer, and Flash was just perfect. Maxer goes down. LNZ didn't expect Quez to just jump up on top of the box, and Nilo can be surprised here to find Iceberg pushing through the smoke. Era now in a 1-on-2, the upper of the young ninjas with only an AK has a flash at his disposal if he really wants to use it. Oh, will find Scott, and he knows where Iceberg is. Era, what is the right approach here? I think he wanted to jump next to the box there, but Iceberg already caught wind of it, and no, Era, he just goes down. Even though Iceberg could have done him dirty, just block him there as he has the knife in hand and let him fall down to the ground.
I don't think there's any way that slicing over twice and then also right-clicking would be enough in your drop down. It's actually somewhat close, I reckon, but I mean, he was already pulling out his weapon, and that's your gut reaction as soon as you see an opponent. You just instantly go for switching back to the weapon. But tricked. They're now in the lead, and NOP don't really have a whole lot to do about it. And they've just got one rifle, an MP9, some pistols bought up in this round, whatever they can afford. And their loss bonus will then gather it up. Oh, Prime, he spotted Adam, but if you start spraying through that, there's barely any damage going down the opposite end. And Adam, as soon as he's been found out, there's no reason for him to stick around anymore. But NIP, even though this is a very weak buy, if they get intriguing with Era, he's just sitting down mid, though. I'd like to see him push up a little bit with a pistol in tow.
He got full control of the side already, Tricked, and sure they haven't found Adam B just yet. He can deny the bomb plan, but Lucky, he had the right idea. Well, there's at least some wasted time on the side of Tricked, but Prime, good double kill to find. LNZ will find the answer, and they get a weapon back. So in a 2-on-3, with only one armor, it's going to be very hard, but it is still doable for the side of the young ninjas, for Era and LNZ. But they are hesitating again, and with that hesitation, it's just going to be time wasted and no defuse kit. Scott waiting at the edge of the smoke. LNZ was tagged by the op, and then Scott just pushes through the smoke, and or as soon as the smoke fades, he gets the double kill, and that is the 5th round for Tricked. Again, I don't think they're that confident, young ninjas, anymore as they were on the first map, because it was showing. On the first map, they were very confident. They were taking duels, everything. On Nuke, they were hesitating, and here they're hesitating again. So I can only feel like that is the lack of confidence that they got on right now.
It's rough right now for NIP, but it was a similar case with Tricked earlier, where they bottled up everything they could afford just so they can try and challenge a little bit, but it was more about doing damage. Now, they didn't do a spectacular amount of it. It started off well. Now NIP and Lindsay mollied off of the spot, and it's just the aim right now, man. There's been plenty of opportunities where Lindsay could have gotten some frag, but he's just struggling. Nilo absolutely isn't, though, but then he peeks right into the scope of Lucky. They're going to have Scott coming through mid as well. Deal with Era is going to mean everything, but Era's got an AWP, and he does get the shot off on Scott. Puts him in the ground, and Lucky in a 1v3 does have the bomb, but the flash is brilliant. Lucky, there's no errant flick coming through, and 9IP, they finally managed to get a gun round under their belt again.
Even though Tricked, they managed to sneak away with some of those previous rounds. It was actually a 3-round streak from the side of Tricked, but still their economy is not looking that good. Sure, they go for a buy, but they have a couple of Mac 10s. Although the young ninjas only have Nilo with head armor, so those Mac 10s can get the job done. Weak smoke used. Wes spots out LNC, and he actually takes a lot of damage from the Mac 10. Era, very aggressive position, and a single flash could just, and as exactly it happened, it could deny the position of Era and also of Adam B, because he was taken out well blinded as well. Maxter will take down Iceberg. But now Tricked, as they got 2 players on the A site, they slow down, trying to reconsider the possibilities, and they could actually go back towards that B site where they know there's another low HP player. That's LNZ. He might be overwhelmed soon enough here. He was trying to surprise, but he knew exactly where he was, so that wasn't really all that helpful. Nilo on 8 HP. He will back away, rejoin Maxter, try to save those 2 weapons as, again, just Tricked finding, I would say, easy openers. I mean, just waiting in front of the smoke with the op, single flash just takes you out of the round.
Yeah, not too sure about that one. And it's not like ramp also is something where util doesn't really happen. I mean, it's the hotspot for utility being used to try and push through, whether it be a smoke or whatever, right? So it is a case of NIP perhaps trying to get too innovative, too out there, that it kind of reverts itself into a bad play instead, and it's not really the brilliance. Usually brilliance is in the things that nobody else has thought of, and it seems so simple, but for Trick to push up ramp, especially when they have a Mac 10, you can use that so freely to your own devices and just throw it in anywhere, really, and you'll probably be fine. If you lose it, sure, it's just a Mac 10, but usually you get a whole load of information. You've got an AK to go with it as well, at least some sort of rifle to try and get the refrag through. Overall, tough play out of Young Ninjas, and now that they've saved over an AK, they don't really have money to buy up around it. It's just going to be a hero AK play. But I would like to see them get a bit more aggressive. Thus far, Young Ninja have been incredibly far back in the sites and really allowing Trick to set the pace. And that was also kind of what was happening on Nuke. They were allowing Trick to set the pace. And as soon as you do that, you let Trick get comfortable. You don't want to see Trick in a comfortable position.
Yeah, again, I feel like that is exactly what was the good part of Mirage. Tricked were playing on a map they are not usually doing too good on. Young Ninjas, they were playing on their second most played map right after Inferno, and that's exactly what they were doing. They were not letting Tricked get comfortable. But on Nuke and also here, that's exactly the wrong move that they keep on doing. They keep on letting Tricked run free and do whatever they want, and I feel like they could get away with some more map control here, Young Ninjas, and that can prove very useful in their search for more rounds in this first half. Now, in this one, sure, they're only using the pistols. They have the AK onto Nilo, and he's boosted up in mid, just trying to surprise. But Tricked, how many times he played mid? Maybe a couple of times at most. And he would surprise the first player, sure, but by the time he surprises someone, it might be the enemy team already into the site, and B site is the right site to choose. They're gonna execute onto it again, but it is just gonna find a free site to just get a bomb planted, and that's about it.
Cool. Immediately moving up close, trying to get those duels and throw a wrench in the works as soon as NIP want to collapse on the site. But this is a round that you just go for it, or at least try to do as much damage, because you've got a buy coming through anyway. That's really not the issue. You don't need to be worried about your economy right here. Prime, he's still perpetrating from the back, though. And that's actually going to draw all the attention from NIP away. Realistically, the only person that you absolutely want to survive is Nilo. And he gets the kill once Prime That's actually going to free up enough AKs for everybody from NIP to get one, so they can just save the rest of this out. They don't have time, obviously, to run back over towards B, fight it out there, and try to get this round won. But this is really tough for NIP right now. Tricked are handing it to them, and not in a good way, or at least not a pleasurable way for NIP. Tricked are just demolishing.
Well, then again, and Young Ninjas, they still have that stronger T side that they can rely on, but I feel like they just need some more rounds on this T side, because who's to say? Sure, they will swap over at halftime point to their favorite side, but that won't necessarily improve the playstyle that they're going for. So I feel like that is still the main point of the team here, that they will need to rely on some more of those maybe a little bit more aggressive positions. Era this time with the AK. I think he just spotted this sliver of Prime, as he's probably playing 4x3. We saw him clearly, but it was a good try. And with those situations unfortunately not going their way, these are the situations where you will feel discouraged to try and get aggressive once again. LNZ though digs down a couple of players and he's still alive, misses the chance onto the third, but Nilo almost gets the spray transfer done. Lucky will find Adam B, and all of a sudden he turns around again and in favor of Tricked.
Adam B seemed like he had a pretty free spray down because Prime was 2 HP. Fails to hit it. Maxer, he's been fragging out decently in the past couple of rounds, and he's still got a full belt of util to try and have a crack at this with. But Maxer, he obviously doesn't know where Lucky is. That molly might be used for the back of side, but Lucky is going to show himself already, and this is going to allow Maxer to utilize the molly. Force Lucky out into the open, and he'll get the frag. NIP, they're going to be on 5.
He pulls through with a 1-on-2 clutch. But the thing is, if they keep on trading rounds, that's not going to end well for the Young Ninjas. At least until the halftime point, it should be okay, right? It was still a two rounds struck together by Trekt, so they need to somehow block that, and also they could get the advantage in this first half, right? There's 3 rounds left, and Young Ninjas, they could still get to 8, which would put them in a good situation, as again, E-side is better for them. Miss Smoke though, and Uera getting aggressive with the op this time, finds success, and he's looking for more, but Lucky, he's also looking to trade onto Era. He's not gonna allow it, actually. Era keeps on peeking, and that is the triple kill from him. And this is looking better for the Young Ninjas, who hasn't Scott the last 2 players standing. The bomb is dropped somewhere underneath, and Scott will retrieve it. But now if they go into that B site, I'm going to have a lot of utility to use, as there's only 2 players alive. And there's at least 2 players here to cover. Adam B coming in to help out as well.
There shouldn't be anything for Tricks here. And if NIP allow it, they're going to be kicking themselves. Quez, elevated position. Already taking so much damage, and he's going to be sprayed down by LNZ through the smoke. Scott to try and make it through, but I mean, there's just no chance for him. As soon as that smoke fades, he's going to spot Nilo, but he wish he hadn't, since Nilo will immediately pounce. And NIP, they're within 1 right now, and on the start of Trick, they don't have money, so it's really going to come down to that final round and a half. Who is going to win out this half? But either way, Trick can be happy with 7. Absolutely. They've done their job already. They can be going on to the CT side with a smile on their face.
And also, I feel like Young Ninjas can start smiling just a little bit as they're getting into the rhythm here, getting some rounds away from the team on the T side. But now they're playing against pistols, and smartly so. I do like them not being aggressive into this one, because again, against Glocks, just jumping down here would be basically you going down and them getting away with a weapon. No armor, but we've seen some players with no armor doing good. And Wish will start. LNC, the one covering. Not the cleanest spray, but he gets one of those kills. Taken down by Lucky. Nilo, he will be very happy to clean out all those eco frags. Maxter will help out. And that is the 7 for the Young Ninjas, tying things up here as we get into round number 15. And again, as I said, basically 2 rounds ago, best result is still 8-7 for the Young Ninjas. So it's not that bad. But from the looks of it from the start, it was looking a little bit chaotic still for the side of Young Ninjas. But now they're slowly getting back on track. You will be round number 15. Everyone has a weapon. There's actually an extra M4N spawn for the CT side as they're playing with a double op. Right now, LNZ going for a pre-fire. Was pretty close to hitting the leg shot, but he can get that M4 back now.
Did that nade actually tag up Iceberg? It tagged him up, the explosion of it, but I meant the initial throw. Prime. I'm thrown to the wolves. And Adam is going to convert on the frag. NIP. Looking a whole lot more sturdy right now, and Trick needs to destabilize that quickly if they want any chance in this round. That's a nice first start by Quez. And oh my god, Quez is just continuing his reign of terror on NIP. Bringing it back into a 3-on-3, and he's still not taking any point of damage. Lucky. He's also trying to get Max there, but oh my god, Quez, stop it, man. You are rude right now. Lucky, he's going to get dropped by Maxter. But this is still a tough one. Quez, he's going to go in hot pursuit, but the barrel! Oh, the AK was blocking it. Scott does get LNZ, and now Quez just knows how to play time, run away, go over towards the B site even, and Maxter's going to have a toughie up for him.
I don't know how Maxter didn't hear Quez there, because he was stepping a lot, but in the end, it will be Maxter again in a 1-on-2 situation now. Good positioning from Trick. Oh, he's going to be very hard. Needs to find the first one. Nice headshot. Won't peek out just yet. Scott goes down as well, and Maxter clutches it up once again for the Young Ninjas, getting the team up to 8 and winning the first half.
Okay. Very well done by Maxter there, but you're entirely correct of why he didn't hear him. Second of all, I don't know why he wasn't even looking that way. I don't think there was any way to not be looking up at the ramp and instead just be looking down the ramp. But either way, he managed to clutch it out. And as we mentioned before, there's no such thing as a bad play as long as it works. And that's exactly what he does. He rights his wrongs and gets very close to death. Young Ninjas. This is still not really a comfortable position. It's an all right position. It's certainly manageable. But Tricked, if they win this pistol, they can start getting the things going again. Young Ninjas, thus far. I don't know, they haven't really been convincing. They were absolutely destroying a Mirage, and after that, it seemed there was a massive drop-off in performance. And Tricked, they've stepped it up big time. I'm really glad to see Tricked start stepping it up and being able to contest and even be better than Young Ninjas in a decent share of the rounds.
Well, let's see if this T side will be better for the side of Young Ninjas. As again, that's what the numbers said, but Quez had his chance and missed it. The Glocks take him down. And the duel is also retrieved by Era. Oh, the Glock strategy, but will they think that Prime is not here? That's the main point, because that's exactly why they throw the decoys towards sandbags, just to hear if there's an impact. And Prime was not hit by the decoy grenade. Oh, and Prime, easy find on Nilo, Adam B, and LNZ, and also Maxter. They get kills instantly. Scott, now in a 1-on-2 situation. Earlier, he was a part of the 2-on-1. Now he has to clutch up, but Adam B just swings there. Instant headshot. And that is pistol round, the round number 9 for the Young Ninjas.
That is such a scary one by Adam, though, because he was solo peeking, and yet again, they were giving Trick the solo duels. The only way to really start getting it back. But Young Ninjas, they still managed to pull through. And in general, I just had a quick gander as well. On basically every single map, barring Overpass, Young Ninjas have got a negative win percentage, pistol round. So they're below 50% for basically everything. Maxter, he's going to be in the green this time, though. Big moolah made by him and Era. Okay, he's the one to finish off the frag, but LNZ was the one with the max 10. But either way, Young Ninjas, they are really strong on the T side of Vertigo, so Trick really need to go above and beyond to really manage and challenge them.
Well, Maxter, he got a lot of money out of that, but a little bit of overstepping just costs him his life. So now he's down to 600, which could be problematic if they don't manage to win this round. But let's see this fast play from the Young Ninjas as Adam B is taken out by Iceberg. No one was there to help him because the Molly was blocking them. That is just a quick opener for the side of Trek. Scott goes down and they can overwhelm that B side. That is where Quez is waiting. LNZ very close with the Mac 10. Nilo, good headshot, and that's B open. That is a 3-on-3 with the side in control of the Young Ninjas, turning the situation around as they lost the opener to the round.
They've also got Maxer coming in from behind. It's got to be a while before he's able to challenge. So NIP, they have got a tough one up ahead of them. Nilo, he's still got some bits of utility that he had spotted. But this is all in the hands of Maxer. Right now, the only thing you really want out of Nilo and Era is to hold it up for as long as possible. But Nilo went aggressive. Maxer is going to get the frag, and Era is going to win his duo against Lucky. That means NIP win the round, and Tricked, they will be reduced to an eco where they can buy up some pistols to try and challenge, do some damage. But Young Ninjas are starting to build up a bank now as well, and that's really becoming problematic.
You know, I like to play. It was a little bit awkward that they had to wait a long time, but hey, if it works, in the end, it works. And of course, Trick didn't really have the info that they needed. If they knew there was a player trying to flank all the way from A, they would have pushed onto the site way earlier. Still, I like the aggression from Nilo as well behind Electric, just trying to get a drop on the players coming into the site as he was very low HP. 4 nades on the side of Trek. Oh, but Nilo finds Lucky. And now there's 3 nades towards the speed site, and I guess they're just waiting to use them as they're trying to push in just to get off of them. That's some HP. Nilo loses a duel against Quez, but Era is still here. They do have an AK to use, but at the same time, Adam B is making his way towards that A site, and they will, and they already realized that they just need to go towards that A site to get the bomb plant.
Trick was even using all their utility to quickly fight back over at B, and they realized there was nobody on the opposite end. Now they've actually picked up a molly, but it seems like they're going to throw it reactively. No, there it goes. So it's going to prevent NIP from planting on the safe spot. They can just wait. They've got the luxury to do so, but another nade in the hand of Iceberg as well, lobbed over. And that's going to perfectly land behind Era. Quez is up close, one spot, but he's way too low. He does manage to get Era, but Adam B will be a step up too high. And Tricked, another round that goes awry, but one that they didn't really plan on pulling through. But right now, they are in crunch time. They can't really have a whole lot more of those type of rounds.
Now, Young Ninjas, this is a very good chance for them to get even closer to that map point, or a series point, I should say, as Tricked. They might be on full loss bonus, but they are on the CT side, so they don't get that extra money from getting the bomb planted. So it should be a half-buy from their side if they lose this one. A very important one for both parts of this game. And now a lot of util has been used by Prime, and they should know he's here, but he gets down Adam B. Iceberg will swing as well, and he catches a double kill. Era with the op, trying to go for the no scope. Quick scope misses, and that is Iceberg with a third, and also a second op picked up. Maxter up for the clutch. The 1-on-5 should be very hard to get anything else done here, apart from maybe some damage, maybe taking down a couple of players, but the 1v5, surely not, as he's tagged down to 12 HP. Yeah, that should just be about it. That should be, well, it's going to be the first round of Tricked on the CT side.
I think this is a story with an ending that we all can anticipate already. Whether Maxter is actually going to survive, that's the only thing that's up in the air. But any bit of damage is good right now for Maxter. He's not really in a spot where he can think about anything else. But imagine how dominant this would be if Adam B and LNZ were even remotely connected to the rest of the team in terms of frags. Maxter about to run on through, and that's the end of Scott. But Tricked, they have got not necessarily a similar type of issue. You've just got Prime with head and shoulders above the rest. And Quez is kind of the halfway mark. They also have got more in them, especially on Lucky, who's on the up. The most valuable weapon really needs to step up and show what he's got in his locker.
Only a 4-round deficit. Shouldn't be too bad for the side of Tricked. But we'll see if they can pull through, as this would be now. I was talking about how the young ninjas in the previous one, they could get up to 14 if they win that one, so on and so forth. But now Tricked, they could actually force young ninjas into an eco, so that could prove an even better situation for them, as they have some money saved over this time, so they can get that economy going, or even use it in case they need it. And the young ninjas, I feel like this time they're hesitating more. And Lucky gets himself in an interesting position, an off angle here that he can surprise with. Iceberg is also there just to watch the angle. Oh, Adam B, that is a nasty shot. Iceberg swings and he gets a double kill. A triple as well. He takes an LNZ. Oh, wow. He's on 20 HP. How is he allowed to do that? Wow.
That should never happen for NAP. They just didn't check ramp. They didn't have one look around the corner. They immediately tried to go and aggress. But Trick, they are still off of the A site. So if NIP can get this bomb down, there's nothing that is going to prevent them from doing so. They can't push either, but the smoke is going to come down. So NIP should be able to get that plant, and they need to go for it as quickly as possible. Maxter, he actually fakes it out. And now it's going to be for realsies. Planting it in the corner, Prime. Could be a problem here. Nilo gonna move back. Maxter still up close, and he's not got no safe passage out. He's waiting for Scott to come around the corner, and he'll immediately challenge. Oh, that's beautiful out of Maxter. Now he just needs to play his life. No need to challenge Prime again. You've got the 1v2. You just need to be the distraction. Now Prime without a smoke in a 1v1 against Nilo. And Nilo doesn't bite at all. Oh my, Prime, it was still on the money. Nilo's running away, but Prime gets the kill through it. Does he have time? No, I don't think he did, actually. I swear. He might
I think he did so too.
Oh my.
He was very close, even if he went for the defuse, but I think he just barely had enough time. But that is unfortunate for him. Very nice 1v2, and also finding the frag there through the wall. It was just perfect, and I wouldn't put it on Nilo. He didn't necessarily did anything wrong, but just Prime reacting to whatever was going on around him was just perfect. Now, even though Young Ninjas, they win the round, the buy is way better for Trek, so there's still chances for them into this one. But now, if this one is not successful, then it can become pretty scary for them. It is actually Lucky with the op looking into mid. A little bit of a late reaction, but Nilo goes down. Almost could have lined him up, to be honest. As the utility is being thrown, Maxter takes down Quez. Lucky also tries to support Prime with a flash, but not really all that helpful. Lucky's still there, though. He takes down Era.
Oh my god. Oh, Scott, it was very messy. But NIP just not checking some corners, not checking some positions that you absolutely should. Lucky. Oh, you might just run into Maxter. Maxter just fades back, but he's actually on the look for Iceberg. Iceberg got to be killed by Maxter. But now Maxter, oh, he's actually, no, Lucky can just peek out easily, and he does make sure that Maxter is sticking in his spot, and he actually shows himself. NIP, they're going to be in 1v2. If there's any moment to show yourself, LNZ, you've been quiet the entire map, but now it's time to get loud. Molly thrown. And just a Galil as well. They're both head armor, full HP, 3 flashes. This is going to be a rough one for LNZ. Out the corner. LNZ is waiting. Catches Lucky with the molly out. That's huge. Now he can throw the flash over, but Scott is immediately on the defuse. Another flash comes through, but he needs to be so quick, and he is quick enough. Oh my goodness.
Wow, LNZ perfectly played. Catches the right timing. Realizes that the enemy might be on the defense. I don't know if he heard it or not, but just the fact that he peeks there, it is just very, very well read by LNZ. And, well, he heard you, Dan. He heard you that he needs to step up, and he does. Wow, beautifully done. 1v2. And that is 14 for the young ninjas. Tricked. Money is an issue, missing utility, and just by being in this situation, it is very scary for them, as the young ninjas could get themselves to series point with Drake on 3,400 loss bonus and basically no money at this point. So I guess a save will come in case we're in like in a 5v2 or something like that. But yeah, it is still a very scary moment for Drake right now.
Just feels like it's a long gap to bridge. And especially with the power of NIP, they could just pull off a 1v2. Stuff like that. NIP are certainly looking on point. It took him a bit of time to get activated, but ever since then, Tricked have really struggled to start gathering the rounds. But Max there, he's not going to be called off by the boost from Prime because he's just not moving through. But Adam B, he is checking for it. Prime also gets clobbered by Max from a different angle, and that's not really what you want to happen to you. Adam B also peaks Iceberg, and that will be a very short-lived life for him. Lucky inching closer and trying to get aggressive, but that also could give up this round entirely with Trick. They might just have to save anyway.
Yeah, they have to. It's not a good money situation, not a good round situation. They're just gonna save, and that's gonna be the moment. NIP, the young ninjas, get to series point here. Now, do keep in mind that this is only the 0-1 record teams. Nobody's gonna get eliminated if they lose. Nobody gets to the playoffs if they win. Sure, young ninjas get closer. They'll get to the 1-1 bracket, and Trick, they get well, closer to the elimination phase, but they can still pull through. I mean, 3-2, the reverse sweep of the group stage is not unheard of. It is very hard, of course. You have to win 3 best of 3s in a row, but still, it is possible. Now, the game is not over. Young ninjas, they still need to get one more round on the board. They need to get to 16. Now, Tricked, because they saved, they dropped over weapons, so they're gonna have a goodbye. But can this goodbye prevent the goodbye? No? Okay.
It took me a little moment. I like it. I like it. I mean, no full exit. A Trick. It would be tough to play 2 days in CCT back-to-back and lose both of your best of 3s. Iceberg, he goes looking, and he'll find Adam with an A1S ready to fight him head-on. That's not something Iceberg is prepared for. Prime wants to get it back, but he actually blinded himself. Oh, and Lucky. He's going to make it out safely, it seems like, but Nilo is still moving through mid. This is such a weird round, and Nilo has got them. No, he's not got them. Lucky has got Nilo on lock. Gets that kill for free. LNZ and Adam, they're so low. In a 2-on-2, that's going to be a rough one to convert in a position where you don't have all the HP that you would want, but you have got a fair bit of use, so you at least can smoke yourself off, get a safe plant, and really that's #1 priority. LNZ, he's going to be able to get that bomb down, and the Ollie actually lands behind him. Adam E both die quickly by the hands of Lucky. He's just waiting patiently. Plenty of time, and Tricks are going to get their 9th.
I mean, it was made very scary just because Iceberg was trying to get aggressive when they had the player advantage. I mean, in 4-on-3, not really the best situation to get aggressive and also give away that lead that you had. But they get the job done. It is lucky with that triple kill to pull through. And with that, they get themselves up to 9. Don't get me wrong, there's still gonna be a long way until they can actually win the map. But at least they deal some damage. Now, Young Ninjas, they are low on money, so it could still be the case of maybe forcing them into an eco, getting some more rounds on the board. But you need more than 15. That's the main point. You need to get a 15, and it's gonna be hard. You need 6 rounds in a row. No mistakes allowed. Yeah, it is looking bad, but they're still not out. They still have a chance.
They've just gotten 2 CT rounds here. NIP has been running this show entirely. And even before Trick finally were able to get that round, they had 8 straight. And really, as soon as NIP started to get those engines running, it's been tough for Trick to keep up with them. Some really rough 1v2s and clutches that didn't go their way at all. This could have been a whole lot closer. But NIP, they pulled through with their individual mechanical ability. Now, 50 seconds is still ample time, but you do need to fully decide here. And the bomb, I think, was spotted by Iceberg as well. But the Prime, he's going to go look in, and that's the bomb spotted again. And backed up with a whole lot of players. And with 36 seconds, you're not too worried that they're going to rotate over massively. So they are going to pull a player from the B site, drag him over towards A. Iceberg, he's trying to get nifty here, but Era, oh, does he spot it? He's off the money, and Iceberg is going to get the kill there. LNZ, however, gets the kill on site together with Adam B, so he clears it up, and they get to plant on the safe side as well. Iceberg wants to run him down, but instead, oh, this is so awkward. Adam B gets a kill, but Quez is going to come in from the side. LNZ up against Iceberg. Shadow gives him away. Now Quez yet again against LNZ. Now it's Maxter, the top fragger, and he's going to come in from behind and convert the frag. 16-9 for NIP.
Yeah, a very good flank again. I was doubting the first flank when we saw it first, but in the end, it is what wins them the round that they needed. 16-9, and a good game by the Young Ninjas. I really like their T side. Tricked, still lacking in some departments. I feel like that is the main reason for them. And well, they go down to the O2 bracket. And Young Ninjas, they join the other teams in the 1-1 bracket. Now, of course, Young Ninjas, they still need to win 2 more. And Tricked, if they want to reverse sweep the group, they need to win 3 best of 3s in a row. But I wouldn't put it past them. So we'll still see what they do in the following days. But with that, that is the 3rd best of 3 of the day done. And the next one, Dan, we have a really interesting one. Oh, it is Undefined taking on Mouse NXT. Undefined, full of players with a lot of experience, against Mouse NXT, against the fresh blood.
Yeah, Mouse NXT, they haven't really had the strongest of recent days, but they are a spectacular side once they're fully up and running. But that's only going to happen after the break, so make sure to stick around if you want to see that. We'll catch you after this.